This channel and this video are made by an adult. While the subject matter can be based on child-friendly material, the narrative and video production is directed towards adults. Occasional slang words or swear words may be present, and the narrative directed at adult themes. If you are under 13 years of age, you should not watch this video. Hello, I'm RetroJules. It was a Sunday afternoon, and as much as I'm enjoying The Last of Us, I just fancied something that didn't involve a lot of violence and hacking and slashing and trying to survive. And I saw this game on the PlayStation Store for £4 called Journey. So I did a little post and said, has anyone played Journey? And thank you very much to Ravna12 and Andrew, who both replied and said it was a superb game and they really enjoyed it. And on the strength of those two, I bought the game and played it. It was a couple of hours to play it through, maybe a little bit more than that. And I quickly went onto YouTube and looked at a review, and immediately when I saw it, it just reminded me of Ico, and I thought, I'm going to enjoy this game, and downloaded it. So thank you guys for recommending that game. While I'm mentioning people, just want to let you know that I've started a new club on PS4 called RetroJules' Game Page. It's there for anybody who wants to have a chat with me or just wants to chat about anything and any game that isn't World of Tanks. Because for World of Tanks, you've still got Ricky's page on the PS4, which is dedicated to World of Tanks, and that's where I go to read the tank posts. And that's World of Tanks, RetroJules fans. Got a nice strong 104 members. And of course, on the Xbox, there's still the RetroJules World of Tankers with a healthy 530 odd members. And that's run by Shady Dealings, who does a cracking job for me. I'm there every morning, just going through the pages and still watching the tanking emotions that you guys go through. Anyway, so this game is called Journey. It's not a shoot 'em up. It's not an open world adventure. It's not an action game. It's a journey. And it's a PS4 exclusive journey. You have no idea what you're supposed to do, where you're supposed to go, what your purpose is, what the game's about. It just starts in the desert, you see something on the horizon, and you head for it. And when you get to something on the horizon, you then see something else, but in the background is always this mountain of light, this beacon of light in the distance, which you are heading for. That's where the game always takes you. You're this sort of, well, I don't know what you are really, this weird character sort of in a onesie with a big dressy cloak on. You've got no arms, you've actually got no feet, and you can jump and hop, but when you pick up these sort of glowing emblems, you then gain a scarf of power. And the more you pick up, the longer your scarf is. And you can power up the scarf, and it fills with emblems, and that allows you to jump higher. The longer the scarf, the higher you can jump, the further you can go, and you can reach new places. This isn't really a puzzle game. There's mild puzzle solving, i.e., oh, I can't jump that high yet, I need to get a power up so I can, and that's about the length of how hard the puzzles get. And it's mildly a platform adventure. You are hopping on and off things and jumping across to other things, but the game is about the journey. And who am I What am I? And what is my purpose? And what I love about this game is the very subtle soundtrack. More often than not, it's just the wind and the sound of the sand. And it's relatively linear, but you get these little areas like this that open up. And you don't see any barriers, but if you go to the edge of the map, shall we call it, then it doesn't just stop you. The wind starts to pick up and it starts to howl, and you hear the sand scratching, and before you know it, you've been blown back into the play area. So that's quite subtle, and I think that happens up here actually. I was just seeing how far I could go. No, it doesn't happen here, but it did because I edited this, and it happened just beyond this, and I got blown back, and I thought, oh, okay, that's how I know how far I can go. And it's a game of exploration. There's that mountain, that beacon of light in the distance again that's just calling you. You've got these sort of tombstones. No idea what they are. In fact, pretty much don't really have much idea of what anything was really about in the game. But what I loved about it is that exploration aspect. And that's how they keep you in the play area. It's really, I love the way it doesn't, you don't just stop and you can't go any further. You feel the wind picking up and the sand travelling, and before you know it, you've been blown back. And it's like, well, okay, I can't go any further. But what I love about this game is you're always looking to the horizon. You're always going over one sand dune to go, ooh, what's over there? I wonder what's on the other side of that. So we make our way to the top of this dilapidated tower. It's kind of sort of got a sort of Arabic, sort of Moroccan feel to the game. And you absorb these ribbons, which releases like mini carpets, sort of ruglets, I suppose. Here we go. And these will power up your scarf, but also if you call to them, they will give you a boost in the air. And you can then use that boost to get higher. Now, another feature of this game, which I wasn't expecting, was you can move the camera with the controller. If you move the controller left and right, the camera moves left and right. And if you tilt it forward and backwards, the camera will move up and down. Not experienced that with the controller before and really liked that. So in The Last of Us, I love the fact that you tap the controller against your hand to get your torch working properly. And in this, you can use the controller to move the camera. I did end up using the right stick though, because it's just easier. So one big power up later gets us across, and then you've got these sort of gateways that you have to prime to go through to the next stage or next area. You sit down, you meditate, you get a good look at yourself. Beacon of light in the distance, the silhouette of a figure. I couldn't work out if these maps that come up are hints at what's going to come in the game, or where you've been, or where you're going. I couldn't quite get to grips with this part. I have a feeling it was kind of what was coming next, where you're heading. It didn't help and it didn't hinder. And these are the bits that just reminded me of Ico. It's like, oh, I'm really excited. I really want to see what's down there. There's the mountain in the distance. Looks like it's getting closer. And these were the moments in the game that I just absolutely loved. You just walked out into this area and there's no music, it's just the sound, the ambience of the atmosphere, the sound of, well, nature, sound of the wind. It's pretty much the only sound you get in this game actually, but I just love the atmosphere of it. I love the simplicity of the graphics. I'd still like to know why I don't have any feet, mind you. But then, why would feet bother me if I'm not worried about not having any hands? So you can see later in the game you get a nice long scarf for extra power-ups. That mountain is getting closer and you can ski down the dunes. And you do meet a few other characters in the game, and I couldn't quite work out. I kind of get the impression that it's an online game, and if somebody else is playing it, they will appear in your game, but you won't know who they are or what they're doing. And I have a feeling you can work together. That's something I read, but I wasn't sure if these characters were those people playing at home, or whether this was part of the game. But at this part of the game, we get to unlock magic ruglets, magic carpets that fly and can transport you. Now there's a spoiler coming up, because if you haven't played this game or you're thinking of playing it, then you'll probably want to turn it off now, because something happens now which is a reflection of what happens at the end of the game. Well, I say now, I'm not actually quite sure when it happens. It's a big desert, you get lost, you've seen one sand dune, you've seen them all. It all looks a bit samey, so I'm not quite sure which sand dune it happens. It's such just a relaxing, chilled game. And so atmospheric. And the whole game is you just want to know what it's about. You want to know what you're about, where you're heading and why you're heading there. These are like secret little areas. Not really sure what they were about. But you just did your little chirpy song thing and a little part of a map came up. Scarf powered back up. And I think it's this sand dune that the next bit, the spoiler, happens. Oh, like I said, the sand dunes look rather similar, and it wasn't that one. There's that. Did you see that spark? There's a spark of light that emanates from the mountain, and it lands. And it lands there as a power-up to lengthen your scarf. And here's the spoiler. This game is like a circle of life, and you are heading to the mountain, and you go through some rather dark, creepy places underground to get to the mountain, and some rather treacherous weather systems. It gets very atmospheric. And you kind of meet your makers, I guess, and you are reborn as a beam of light which emanates from the mountain. And as you just saw, that beam of light lands and it's a power-up. And I guess your whole circle of life is to make your way to the mountain, be reborn as an energy beam of light to help power up the next person that's on that same journey. And that essentially is the game. Very simple, very quick, couple of hours play, but I thought for £4, worth every penny. And I really enjoyed the journey. The gameplay wasn't overly difficult. Okay, the platforming was a little tricky later on, but even though you never really knew what you were doing, the game just steers you in a direction that just seems logical, and you just go with it and you enjoy the journey. I enjoyed my 2-hour journey. It was a really sweet, atmospheric, unusual game. I hope you too enjoyed the ambience, the atmosphere, the graphics and the gameplay. Keep safe, keep gaming, and I'll see you soon.